4 distinct Microsoft Azure services were discovered to be susceptible to server-side request forgery, SSRF, attacks, which might be used to gain unauthorized access to cloud resources. Microsoft has since resolved the security flaws reported by Orca between October 8, 2022 and December 2, 2022 in Azure API Management, Azure Functions, Azure Machine Learning, and Azure Digital Twins. The discovered Azure SSRF vulnerabilities allowed an attacker to scan local ports, find new services, endpoints, and sensitive files, providing valuable information on potentially vulnerable servers and services to exploit for initial entry and the location of sensitive information to target, researcher by Litter Ben Shitrat of Orca said in a report shared with the Information Security in Focus. 2 vulnerabilities impacting Azure Functions and Azure Digital Twins might be exploited without authentication, allowing a threat actor to acquire control of a computer even without an Azure account. SSRF attacks may have severe repercussions, since they allow an intruder to read or change internal resources and, worse, pivot to other portions of the network and access otherwise inaccessible systems to retrieve vital data. 3 of the vulnerabilities are classed as important, while the SSRF vulnerability affecting Azure Machine Learning is rated as low. All vulnerabilities can be used to influence a server and launch additional attacks against a vulnerable target. The following is a concise description of the 4 vulnerabilities. Unauthenticated SSRF on Azure Digital Twins Explorer via a flaw in the /proxy/blob endpoint that could be exploited to get a response from any service that's suffixed with blob. Core. Windows. Net. Unauthenticated SSRF on Azure Functions that could be exploited to enumerate local ports and access internal endpoints. Authenticated SSRF on Azure API Management Service that could be exploited to list internal ports, including one associated with a source code management service that could then be used to access sensitive files. Authenticated SSRF on Azure Machine Learning Service via the /data call/stream content endpoint that could be exploited to fetch content from arbitrary endpoints. It is advised that enterprises validate all input, ensure that servers are configured to allow only necessary inbound and outgoing traffic, avoid misconfigurations, and adhere to the concept of least privilege to reduce such threats, POLP. Ben Shitrat remarked, perhaps the most striking element of these discoveries is the number of SSRF vulnerabilities we were able to detect with minimal effort, suggesting their prevalence and the risk they pose in cloud systems.